What is a digital handpan? Are they worth it? Who are they designed for and what can they do? Let's dive into this Neotone Digital Handpan. I'm really excited to have one in my hands. This is in a lovely walnut finish, which I chose. You can get them in different wood finishes. And I chose it to match my Meze Audio headphones, which are also in a walnut, because I'm a geek, all right? So yeah, let's dive into what it sounds like, what it does, and how to use it, essentially. So, first things first, we have the power cable, which actually I'm going to unplug for now, because it's charged, and we can play these without needing to be plugged in. Here are all the ports that we've got available to us. We have the headphone jack port. I've got a little adapter in here because it is a 1/4 inch input and my headphones are smaller than that, so I've just got a little adapter so that I can plug my headphones in. Line outputs, we have a mono output, or we can also do left and right. MIDI, also USB MIDI, so we've got MIDI in, MIDI out, and we also have USB capabilities. There's also a trigger expression pedal input here as well, which is quite exciting, and I haven't explored what to do with that yet, how to use that, but essentially it gives you a little bit of control, adding some effects here and there, as and when you choose. Power button and power plug. So what I'm actually going to do here is plug this in to my recording software so that you can hear it. I'm also going to plug my headphones in so that I can hear it. No, that's not where it goes. It goes in there. So this is what it sounds like to somebody who doesn't have the headphones or speakers. But this is what it sounds like if it is coming through headphones or speakers. I can't hear what that actually sounds like because I don't have headphones in yet, so let's do that. So I was just playing on a B Amara scale. Now these instruments come preloaded with 8 different scales, but the amount of scales that you can get on them completely depends on your own imagination. There is a whole software online that you will get a login for when you buy one of these. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. There's a whole software that you can access, and through that, it's just through accessible through a web page. Through that, you can design your own scales and assign different notes to different triggers. Or you can load a whole menu of scales that have been designed by people who also own Neotones, and you can share your own scales within that menu as well. That, for me personally, is the most exciting part of this instrument, and it's the reason I've always wanted a digital instrument. For different people, their priorities might be different, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. So, let's talk about the actual playing of it and what that feels like. Now, what you might notice if I show you up close is that each of these tone fields, and this is the mutant version of this instrument, each of these tone fields has an extra little tone field within it. I'll show you that closely. So here's the main part, and then there's this little extra part here. What that does is they act as almost like bottom notes on an acoustic handpan. So I can play just like a regular instrument, but also if I've loaded a scale that has bottom extensions, let's see, in this case I'm loading an F sharp Nordlies 19, and it's just loading now. In order to do that, all you have to do is hold down, press the ding and one of the notes, and you can assign each of these notes to a scale so that you can load them. So we're just loading that Nordlies now. Here we are. We've got the ding, we've got the tone field of the ding. We can also strike in different parts. Da, 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 to access those harmonics. Just like on a regular handpan, super exciting. And then we can play the top notes. we can also play. I don't know the layout of the scale yet. Right, so you can see how the Nordli scale feels like this, but when we put the extensions, there's some in-between notes, so that you've got the full major scale, and there's also some low, deep notes, so that you can access some bass lines. And when you load extended scales on this instrument, it's the same story for any scale, and you can design what you want that layout to look like. So this is a Nordli's. I've never actually played with this yet. I just loaded it on the other day to experiment with it. And this was created by somebody, I'll have to look up who it was, by someone who also has a Neotone and wanted to explore and experiment, create different scales. So as you've seen a little bit here, we can access different parts of the tone field, right? And we can do the same on these. Even though each tone field acts as 2 notes, you can also activate different textures within those tone fields. Here's the center, here's the outside, the more metallic outer edge. And you can access again those harmonics. And I have to say, the samples on this are really, really nice. It really feels like a handpan. Also, you'll notice there I accidentally hit the outer edge, which also acts like the interstitial space on an acoustic instrument. You've got that metallic, and it sounds a little bit different depending on where you strike. So you have all of these capabilities that, especially when I first started playing with this, it almost convinced me that I was playing an acoustic handpan. The touch is really sensitive, and you can adjust that as well on the webpage. You can really play with the dynamics. There's so much room to like breathe with it, you know, that it got to the point where like I was trying to like use different part of my fingers, you know, because it was almost felt so real that I thought I could do this kind of thing, but you can't. There are limitations, of course, because it's a sample, right? It's a sample of a handpan, so you can't manipulate the airwaves and make it do that kind of whammy sound. But you can get a lot of textures out of this, muted sounds. Right, it's very, very clever. It's very, very clever. You've got this little screen here as well that tells you what scale you're playing, how much battery life you've got left. This is also in 440 Hertz, that's good to know. When you play a note, it tells you what note that is. A sharp, C, which again for me as somebody who is a teacher and needs to understand lots of different scales, that's really handy, because then I can just start to play a scale that maybe an upcoming student has got. I can get to know it, I can practice, I can see what notes I'm playing so I can learn the notes as I go. Another really, really useful tool for me especially. So, is it worth it? Should you buy it? That depends on who you are and what you want, for sure. It is an expensive purchase, as is any handpan. For me, personally, it's a no-brainer. You can access an unlimited amount of scales. It's got full extension possibilities. There is a version of this that isn't extended, that is just a regular Neotone Digital Handpan, which gives you 8 notes. That's a little bit cheaper option. And And I'm also interested in recording not just handpan music, but I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter. I enjoy making pop music, I enjoy making folk music, all of that kind of thing. And for that, this can come in really, really handy. And I've already been experimenting with some recordings with it as well. So if you are somebody who is interested in jamming maybe in a live setting with other instruments that are loud, like drum kits and guitars, etc., or a DJ, this could be a really, really good tool for you. If you're somebody who's interested in recording, not necessarily handpan compositions, but handpan that is included in other things like electronic music or rock and pop and folk and that kind of thing, this could be for you. If you're somebody who's interested in designing scales, trying out lots of different scales, you don't want to like pay £2,000 every time you want to try a new scale, you know, this might be for you. If you are a hobbyist who enjoys your one instrument that you've got and maybe you want another one that's extended and you follow tutorials and you play every now and then, maybe it's not for you. I think, yes, it is very close to the feeling of playing in a handpan, but it's not a handpan. You don't get that tactile metallic feel, even though you do get a really natural, like I can just play like this and make beautiful sounds. It's still, you don't get the full feeling, you don't get to feel the vibrations of the handpan, you know, you don't get to just kind of pick it up and play, you have to plug it in, plug your headphones in at least. So there is some element missing there, that kind of raw, lovely, natural feeling of the instrument. And that's why, even though I've had this for a few months now and I love it, it hasn't replaced playing handpan. I still go to the handpan first, but when I want to do something a little bit different, or I want to explore scales or record and there's noise around me, so I can't record an acoustic handpan, then I use this. So yeah, I use it in very specific settings. So I think it's a wonderful, wonderful tool for people who know what they want to get out of it. I think it's not a necessary purchase for people who just enjoy jamming every now and then, you know? So with that, let's listen to a little bit of music on this thing. I'm going to play a little bit of something. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Let me know if there's anything else you would like to see. And if you are someone who follows my tutorials here, let me know what scale instrument you've got, because I can do a tutorial on that scale now, because I've got this. So thank you so much, Neotone, for this wonderful, wonderful instrument. Honestly, I'm thrilled. I think it's incredible. I think it's so clever, so clever. And, you know, it's just so exciting to see where the future of handpan is headed. And what else is going to come out of this. You know, the handpan is only like 25 years old, and yet suddenly we have extended scales, we have digital handpans, we have tongue drums with drums on top of them, we have so many cool instruments that are just popping up here and there, so many amazing genres of music that's being played with these instruments. It's so exciting, and this is a big part of that evolution and that development. So excellent work, team. I honestly, incredible. I can't wait to explore more.